Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to another live show. Hope you're doing well. Let me just make sure everything is in shape. Okay. Hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. And I hope everything is in good order. In today's video, we are going to talk about um, the basics of dog training for beginner's guide to basic dog training for new dog owners or those dog owners who are in basically, I would say, beginner level. We're going to talk about all the steps that you need to take and all that more. And, I'm going to also answer your questions. We're going to talk about dogs. We're going to figure out what to do about dogs, all that and more
If
in
you want to
today's.
learn the negative effects of treat training which causes your dog to develop bad behaviors and health issues, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get notified about our next video.
All right, so welcome, and hopefully you're doing well. Let me just show you this. Yeah, that would be the one. So a few days ago, it's about a week ago, I asked you dog owners, my subscribers, followers, as a dog owner and viewer of my channel, which level would you categorize yourself when it comes to dog training? And 66% of you were beginners, 26% intermediate level, and 9% professionals. And that's interesting to see. So that's why I decided to do this live video where I talk about the beginning levels of dog training, what you need to do, and what are the steps that you need to take in order to get the results that you want. Now, before we get started, I wanted to say hello to John the Beagle Dad, John Cipolla. Um, he's has changed his name, which is John the Beagle Dad. That's great. I love that name. John is here. Happy Paws is here, and Happy Paws has a couple of questions as well. I'll be answering your questions as we go along with my presentation, with my explanation that I have to how to get started into beginners dog training. But let me just answer the question to Happy Paws. What would you first suggest be in a dog trainer? Happy Paws, I have just recently, actually, I did a video. I don't know if it was because of you. I think you inspired me to make this video. I have a video in my channel that you can go ahead and watch it, which is I talk about all the ins and outs of dog training as a dog trainer, and you can learn more about all the details there. And how your other question is how much to charge and how long as a new dog trainer to figure out how much to charge. These things are something that you have to learn as a business owner. You have to figure these things out. It's your business. You can figure out how to price yourself and how to do things properly. So let's get started. So the first thing that you need when it comes to as a new dog owner or beginner level dog owner is having consistency. Both you and your dog should be consistent. It creates a lot of good stuff when you are consistent. Dogs learn through repetition and clear patterns. When you are repeating same patterns, they learn faster. Means doing the same. What it means when we are talking about consistency is doing the same command, gestures, and you reward the dog the same way, and you ask your dog to give you that desired behavior that you're expecting, and you repeat that um, over and over. And what happens is it clears the confusion from your dog's point of view. So when I say consistency, you always have to say, for example, Rover, sit, right? Instead of Rover, can you put your bum down? Or Rover, pop, pop, pop. It's all the time, it's different. You don't want to do all the time. You don't want to change. You want to be consistent. You want to always say, Rover, sit. Rover, do this. Rover, that. You know, Rover, do this. Rover, do that. Rover, here. Rover. Always have consistent commands, consistent gestures. So, for example, if you are going to learn about dog training, and if you're training a dog, you want to be always using, for example, one of the things that I teach to my students is always stick to the plan of name of the dog, command, hand signal. So those three things you always have to be consistent all the time. So Rover, name of the dog, command, which is in, for example, sit, and the hand signal also is good to give hand signal. There's lots of benefits from using a hand signal. So you always use the same hand signal, always like that. You're always giving hand signal like that, right? Not once you're saying, Rover, sit, come on, Rover, put your bum down. Every time, again, different. You don't want to do that. You always want to say, Rover, sit. Always, Rover, sit. So when you do that, when you're always consistent, you're bringing predictability to your dogs, where your dog feels secure, uh, when it knows what to expect. You're always going to say, Rover, sit. So it knows and expects that, and therefore you get better results. And when you have predictable, when the dog feels that it can predict what you're asking and what you're uh, expecting, um, it's easier for the dog to learn. And now the other thing that you want to make sure when it comes to consistency is reinforcement, right? Uh, Rewarding your dog, what you feel or you think that is the best reward for your dog. Um, that reinforces your dog to also uh, be consistent and understand the behavior that you want. So um, it makes the dog to say, okay, if I do this, this is what's going to happen. So reinforcing makes the dog to also learn better. The last thing, when it comes to consistency, it's faster learning, right? It speeds up the learning process for your dog, and it reduces the confusion, right? Your dog can quickly make connection between your wants and needs and actions and outcomes. So, for example, you can say to your dog, Rover, sit, and Rover sits, because now you've been consistent and you've been reinforcing the same behavior that you are always expecting. Therefore, your dog learns faster. So, the first thing that you need to understand when it comes to basic of dog training is you have to be consistent. Um, so for example, I'm gonna try to share a video with you. And meanwhile, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask questions as well. Um, Let me see. Happy Pause is asking, so busy training. How do I choose who to train? I have full-time job. My dog training is on the side, really taking off. Um, yeah, that's something, again. It. I think you have to look at it from, as I explained in the video, you have to look at it from business point of view. If it's something that you really want to do, and if you see that it's really taking off, then I would invest in it. If you think that you are enjoying the business of dog training, and you're taking your business is taking off, why not invest fully on it? Um, I have done, and also happy pause. I have done volunteering in shelters and rescues. At the moment, I'm not, but the thing is, um, you can't really save much. You can't really do much in this day and age with the amount of work that there is to be done. It's just impossible to win this challenge of saving dogs. Um, it's interesting that you're bringing that, the shelter and rescuing. One of the things about consistency when it comes to, let's say, dog training or overall dogs, one of the things that I want you to understand is that dogs love that consistency, that routine. I'll talk about it a little bit more. But like shelter dogs, for example, they live in shelters and they kind of have a routine. They know that this is where I stay. This is like for 10 o'clock or 5 o'clock, I'll be fed. Uh, they have a routine, and that consistency, it's kind of brings them relaxation. Even though they are living in a shelter, they're living in a jail kind of type of lifestyle. But over even those people who are in prison, humans who are in prison, um, they have a routine as well. And routine and consistency brings relaxation. If you know what your routine on daily routine is, you're more productive, you're more relaxed, rather than if you're one of those people who has no idea what tomorrow brings, what's going to happen tomorrow. Then um, you're always in form of, I would say, lifestyle. You're always stressed because you're expecting uh, different things to happen every day. Whereas um, when you are routine oriented, you tend to be more relaxed, I would say, right? So the first thing, as I said, is consistency. Now, the next thing that you need to know about the basics of dog training when it comes to dog training is positive reinforcement. um, do you know what I mean when I talk about positive reinforcement? When we talk about positive reinforcement, is something that I think many dog owners, they don't really grasp into it. That when you are um, working with the dog, you want to make sure that at least the training part is mostly positive. What I mean by that is you want to make sure that when you're teaching your dog something, you're teaching it to learn to walk, teaching it learn to have the basics, obedience learned, and things like that. You want to make sure that your dog is having a good time, is not stressed. That's what I mean. You want to make sure that at least during the training, your dog is in a good mood, good um, state of mind. Uh, don't want you to mix it with the fact that your dog should be experiencing both negative and positive experiences in life. Dogs, animals, humans, anything that is living, they experience both positive and negative in life. Uh, that's normal. I don't mind if my dogs or any dog experiences a little bit of negativity in their lives. That's fine, because what happens is that brings balance to the to life. But when it comes to training your dog, you want to make sure that 99% of the training session is in positive mode. So what I mean by that is you don't want your dog to be stressed, because when your dog gets stressed during the training, it doesn't learn. It can't learn. And one of the other things that I usually say to dog owners is, for example, that when they're trying to, when they take their dog to parks or walks and things like that, their dog reacts, and at that moment they're trying to stop the dog or train the dog or teach the dog not to behave certain that way or some certain way. That's not the right time to train the dog, because the dog state of mind is not in the right place. It's not in a positive state of mind. Therefore, it's not going to learn. It's not going to, everything that you're going to be teaching is not going to be going properly and the way you expect it to be. So therefore, positive reinforcement has to build trust. You know what I mean? Positive reinforcement has to build trust in a dog. Uh, when you build trust between you and your dog, you are able to connect with your dog a little bit deeper, and you create a better bond, uh, rather than focusing on punishment, right? When you're training your dog, if you're punishing your dog for not learning, for example, uh, or not responding to your commands or what you're teaching, if you punish it, then it makes it harder for the dog to learn. But if you are constantly keeping it in a positive state of mind and positive environment, the dog is going to be more willing to cooperate with you. So, for example, in this scene, let me just show you one more time. So, as you can see in here, for example, I'm teaching this beagle, which her name was Sky, to walk properly. For example, and you can see that it's I'm making it positive state of mind for her. I'm not punishing her or anything like that. So I'm teaching her to walk between these planks. So and then I make it narrower and narrower, and then I ask her to go between those planks as it gets narrower and narrower. Now, if I had made it this as punishment and she was not cooperating with me, and I had to punish her and things like that, I wouldn't be able to be successful for the rest of the training session. But because I have made it in a positive environment, she feels more secure and bonded with me, which builds trust, and then that creates the motivation, right? It makes her to be more motivated to creates motivation in the dog to do what I'm asking her to do. For example, you see there is she's challenged a little bit because it's narrower now, but because I am working with her in a positive, with a positive reinforcement state of mind, I'm getting results. I get motivated, right? And I'm able to what we call behavior shaping. Behavior shaping is the behavior that you want, right? It allows you to shape the behavior that you want. So therefore, what happens is I get results, my dog gets better, and we all get good feedback and good results from the time and the energy that we invest. Most dog owners, what they do is, first of all, they don't have, they don't know what they're supposed to do, so they just wing it, just do whatever. And when you do whatever and you don't have a plan and you don't understand how dogs work and how dogs learn and what you're supposed to do, when you wing it, it becomes a mess, right? But if you know what you're doing and if you have a plan, then what you can do is you can work on it, be consistent plan that you have, and then build trust. As I said, when you are using positive reinforcement, you're building trust, and you're able to motivate the dog to do whatever you want, and you can shape the behavior that you want. So now, as you can see, I was doing on a leash. Now I'm doing off leash. So I'm asking this dog to do exactly what I taught her, and now she's doing it off leash, and she's wagging tail. She's happy. She's in a positive mode. She's in positive mood, and she's doing exactly what I want her to do. That's called, behavior shaping. After I have taught her, and then I'm asking her to do off leash, and without the use of even treats or force or domination. As you can see, I'm just motivating her, right? And I get the results that I want. I hope that is making sense, right? And yeah, so that's the other part of um, basics of understanding of what you're supposed to do. So second part is positive reinforcement. Let's go to the chat area. I can see that Donna Lisa is here. Donna Lisa is saying, new here, welcome, thank you for being here, new um, viewer. Hope you have subscribe to the channel. Your question is, I have a mini poodle and two Chinese crested, always adapted middle-aged dogs. First time puppy with one of the Chinese cresties. It is very different, and I'm learning. So glad found your YouTube. Uh, that's okay. Yes, sorry. I'm glad you found my YouTube channel, and there I understand the challenges that you're having with your dog and your puppy, but understand, this is why you're here. This is why I'm here, and this is why we are doing this to, educate each other, help each other, and as we go along, I hope you get some benefits from this teaching that I'm doing today. Thank you for being here, and let's continue. So, as I said, the first thing that we need to do is being consistent, right? And second thing that we need to focus on is positive reinforcement. Now, the next thing that we need to focus on is being patient. Have patience. Um, Donna Lisa, this is maybe is going to apply to you as well. You got to be patient. You have to have patience. Training takes time, and every dog learns at their own pace. Patience is very important because it allows your dog to learn without pressure, right? And also allows you to teach and work with your dog without any pressure. Rushing to get results can lead both frustration and stress in you and your dog. So if you're expecting to get results soon, right away, or within few weeks, I would say, step out of that mindset and be patient, because patience is something that dog owners, they tend to lack a lot. So what I mean by that, when it comes to our dogs, most dog owners, they want results right away, where in everything else in our lives, right, we're not having that much expectations from anything that we are doing. For example, um, if we are uh, growing vegetables, right, fruits and vegetables, we know it takes months to get the first of all, the seed uh, to bloom, and then that plant becomes a plant, and the plant becomes a tree, and all that, right? So we know that um, that it takes time to do things, right, to get results. But when it comes to our dogs, we tend to um, where is this going? Let me see. Hmm. Why is this ticker going? Okay, I see. Okay. Um, when it comes to our dogs, we tend to lack patience. We want right now. We want results right now. Um, when you have patience, I have a lot of patience personally. When you have patience, it helps you to create a calm environment to train, and it creates a calm environment to learn as well. Uh, One of the benefits of my, for example, my online dog training and coaching program that I have is that we work with each dog owner and each dog at their home, where the dog and the dog owner are in their safe environment, in their calm environment. Hopefully most households are calm, relaxing environment, not a crazy household. And what happens is the dog and the dog owner are able to learn and learn faster and get better results, rather than working or going to dog training class or obedience class, or work with a dog trainer in an outside environment or somewhere like that. Because when you're working in those environments, you're rushing, right? You're trying to get results. You're saying, I gotta get results. I paid this guy to give me results, right? I've paid this dog trainer, and I have to get results. So come on, give me results. Give me results. There's no patience in there. You know what I mean? And when you are dealing with that type of mindset, obviously you're not going to get results, right? Whereas if you are in your environment, in your home, that everything is relaxed and comfortable, uh, you're not going to be stressing yourself, and you're not rushing, right? Therefore, you're going to get better results, right? Um, so I would say, overall, if you are feeling stress, more likely is that your dog is going to feel stress as well. So patience reduces stress, right? And when you reduce stress, you get better results, because then you're not rushing to get results, right? As I said, when you are in an environment that your dog is reacting, or you're in an environment that, let's say, you have attended an obedience class, or you have hired a dog trainer to work with you at the park to get your dog to be under control. First of all, the dog trainer is rushing to give you results, so it's pushing you and your dog. Second of all, you are rushing because you want to, come on, give me results. That's your expectation. Give me results. I want results right now. I don't have patience now. And your dog also is saying, what the hell is going on? You're stressed. That guy is stressed. This environment is stressed, and I can't focus. I can't learn. This is not an environment for me to learn. That's not the environment to train the dog either, right? Because it causes stress. So we want to reduce the stress, and the way you can reduce the stress is by having patience, right? That, what, I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to work on this for, I don't know, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. I'm going to work on this lesson for months and months, and that's okay. I'm going to get results eventually. And if you are patient, right, and you reduce stress, I guarantee you get results faster. You get better results as well, right? Because You're not causing stress in your dog, you're not causing stress in the environment, therefore you're going to get the results that you want. So it encourages learning as well when you have patience. When you give the time that you need, the time that your dog needs, it's more likely that you're going to get, your dog is going to understand better, is going to learn easier, and is going to retain information better and faster uh, as you teach and you go along. So, therefore, you want to um, have patience. And when you have patience and you reduce the stress and you encourage learning, it builds confidence in you and your dog. Let's say if I'm working with a dog, right? Or if I'm working with a dog owner, let's say if I'm working with a dog owner, if I create an environment that is stress free and relaxing and it's calm and um, enjoyable, what is going to happen is I'm going to get better results from the dog. Therefore, the dog owner is going to get better results. Therefore, I'm getting better results, right? So, what happens is the dog says, this was easy. I learned it. So, it builds confidence in the dog. And the dog owner says, wow, the dog learned. So, it becomes confident that can teach the dog and get results. And I get confident that I have taught this person to get results with their dog. So we're building confidence in each layer that we're working, right? So basically, if you have um, patience, you can reduce stress. You're not causing stress in your dog and yourself. You're encouraging better learning, right? And you're building confidence in you and your dog, right? Make sense? If it's making sense, let me know in the chat area that you're getting the idea. I have one more step that I want to talk about, and let's quickly just go to the um, chat area. Um, Donna Lisa says, "I'm trying to learn to have lots of patience." Yes, we I think in general as human beings we are in this day and age we don't have much patience. I don't know if you know this concept that I've learned for many years is that people are um, on their phone and they're sweeping uh, and viewing content, uh, and because of that, because you get instant satisfaction and joy, we have learned that we need satisfaction right away, and therefore, if we don't get satisfaction right away, we are turned off. And when we are turned off, we don't learn how to have patience. I mean, for example, I remember when I was growing up, we had to go, if we wanted to watch a series on TV, we had to wait a week. Imagine that, a week. You had to wait to see the next episode. Whereas now you can binge watch the episodes, right? So we have to learn to have patience. And one of the beauties of having dogs is that they can teach us to be patient. And I hope I'm getting the message to you that you need to understand that your dog can teach you to become patient. As you're teaching your dog is teaching you as well. Um, so we can learn from each other, from our dogs, from dogs can learn from us as well. Happy Pause is asking, Saro, what are your thoughts about pit bulls? Shelters are full of them. Well, there's always a bad apple in any bunch, right? Uh, so there are bad pit bulls and there are good pit bulls as well. Most of them are good dogs. There has been some bad breeding of pit bulls, and those are the ones who have stood out in our society. The bad breeding, bad bred pit bulls or dogs in general, any breed. There are so many bad bred dogs that have emotional, mental problems. And that's because due to puppy mills. Having the opportunity of these puppy mills to operate and uh, sell their bad bred puppies and dogs to the public can cause having bad results. And pit bulls, they tend to end up they are standing out in majority of dog breeds, and they have been bred the worst in a way. um, Johnny says, "What's up? I'm doing very well, John. Um, I thought Ruth to use her dog Ram for the bed. Hmm, that's a good thing." Uh, John is saying, "Rue is perfect office assistant. She's snoring away." Yes, I have some of those assistants as well. Not at the moment; they're hanging out with mom in the kitchen or somewhere. Um, and most of the time, they are here in the office with me as well, and they're snoring, and that's a sign of happiness for me and for them. Um, Donna Lisa is saying, yes, I have to keep anxiety down. Yes. Donna, this is another thing that just because you mentioned, when we are stressed, and that is normal for us to be stressed, but if we are overstressed, that is affecting our dogs as well. And that can be a little bit working against you to get the results that you want. So you always want to work on improving your own life before you improve your dog's life. I hope that makes sense. We have Jeffrey Borja. Welcome, welcome. Jeffrey Borja is one of the members of my Facebook group. Um, I have a question about puppy food. The food should be the same every day. And also, if they become adult and change food to adult food, it has to be same or can be different food like human. Oh, this is a good question. Uh, Overall, you want to provide various types of, I would say, proteins for your dog. Um, Whether they're puppy or adult, you want to, again, consistency is good thing when it comes to everything, every part of your dog's life, including the diet. If you're consistent, that's good thing. The only thing that you want to change is, now this is something that I'm still learning and I've learned so far, that I'm going to share with you. When it comes to your dog's diet, there are a few things that you want to consider before sticking to a recipe or a menu for your dog as a food. Um, I would say one of the things that I have learned is understanding your dog's energy. So I have two dogs, for example. I have, let me see if I can point. Yes, I have Harvey and Annie, right? Harvey and Annie. So Harvey, he's running cool. Annie is running hot. Let me explain what I mean by that. This is something that I've just learned, and I'm still exploring it too. So I have a Harvey, who's cool. What that means is he's cool, chill dog. He's running cool, right? And Annie, she's excited. She's running hot, right? She's always happy, high energy. So she's always running hot. So what I feed my beagle, my Harvey, who's cool, I'm feeding him cool food, warm to hot food to balance it out. Whereas my hot girl, who's hot energy, and this is something that you can learn from Chinese medicine as well. Um, so she's hot, so I'm feeding her cool food to calm her down, right? So what I do here is I'm trying to balance out. Let me see. I'm trying to balance out their energy level, right? So the food that you're feeding your dog can impact their energy level, and can impact their health, can impact their life, and everything else. So you want to first of all find out what kind of energy is your dog. Is it hot? Is it warm? Is it cold or cool? Right. First of all, and then feed appropriate type of food to that dog. So, for example, Harvey is a cool uh, dog, so I feed him chicken, which is cool meat. Whereas Annie, she's hot. I'm feeding her um, pork, beef, to give her that energy that she needs, but it's not also hot food. So you have to learn this stuff. You have to kind of explore the diet uh, concept of your dog. But overall, I would say, you want to feed the same thing. And like, for example, when I say the same thing, so dogs should get protein, a little bit of vegetable, a little bit of fiber, and some omegas, oils, and some supplement, depending on what your dog requires to have. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a vet, but what I have learned after working for and studying and learning about dogs and dogs' diet, I've learned that you can feed 75% meat, 25% vegetables. If you have a puppy, you want to give about 10% carbohydrates as well. Um, and when they are growing older, when they're adult, you can definitely start reducing the carbs and give it, just stick to meat and vegetables. And I tend to feed, let's say, couple of weeks of chicken and then rotate it to pork and then rotate it to beef and then rotate it to uh, turkey, maybe whatever it's in season as well. So I like to rotate the protein. The vegetables, we keep it simple. You want to keep simple, like feed green leafy vegetables, whatever you can find, and feed that. Um, it doesn't have to be the same, but more likely the same routine you're feeding, but you can change the protein just to give them some variety and also some happiness and also some balance in nutritional point of view. I hope that answered your question, Jeffrey. Donna Lisa says puppy mills equals cruelty to dogs. Very sad. Yes, yes. Um, I think our dogs can be our life teachers. Definitely, for sure. And Cynthia, one of our members of the channel, is here as well. Hello, Saro and chat family. welcome, Cynthia. Thank you for being here. So let me continue on our lesson today. So far we talked about being consistent. Number one is being consistent. To bring predictability and reinforcement and faster learning. Next, we talked about positive reinforcement, which brings trust, builds trust, um, brings motivation, and you can shape the behavior that you want based on the positive reinforcement that you're providing. Next, we talked about patience, which if you have patience, it reduces the stress level of you and your dog, which encourages the dog to learn and builds confidence in you and your dog. Now, the fourth thing that you need is clear communication. Clear communication involves using distinct, simple commands and consistent body language to convey your expectations to your dog. Dogs are highly perceptive to human cues, so clarity is key to effective learning. Let's impact that. So if you have clear communication, for example, I was saying in the beginning, um, when I teach dog owners, let's say a command to practice with their dogs, and we say, here are the three steps that you have to take: name of the dog, command, hand signal. These are the three things that you have to consistently repeat every time you're asking your dog to do the command of, let's say, sit. So Rover, sit. So that's what they hear, and what they see, the dog sees, is you moving your lips and saying, Rover, sit, right? You're always giving the hand signal as well. So that brings clear communication, and simply it makes the dog to learn faster, because dogs are always observing us. They're always watching us, they're always learning from us. And when you are using your body language as well, and dogs are very much uh, body language professors, they communicate using their body language, and also they read your body language like a book. Whereas dog owners, they don't read dogs body language as good as dogs read human body language. So they are reading our body language, and if you use your body language and your communication skills in a way that is clear, you would get better results. Um, and when you have clear communication, again, reduces confusion. Just like it reduces stress, it reduces confusion, and it prevents the dog from being confused about what you want them to do, and therefore they don't say, what, um, I don't understand what you're saying. So I'll give you an example, and you may be one of them as well. Many dog owners, they tell me that my dog is uh, very, I'm looking for the word, I hope I get my assistant to help me with that. They're very ignorant. No, not ignorant. Heavy-headed. What do you call that? What do you call when the dog is not listening to you, and it's not, you're not getting the results that you want? What do you call that? Uh, Help me if you know what I'm talking about. Uh, what are we? What we call those? Stubborn. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Many dog owners, they tell me that their dog is stubborn. Well, here's the clue. It's not that your dog is stubborn. It's just that you're not. Thank you, Cynthia. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Uh, it's not that they are stubborn. It's because your um communication is not clear, right? When your communication is not clear, it causes confusion in the dog. And when the dog gets confused, right? When the dog gets confused, therefore, you don't get the results that you want. Therefore, uh, hi, Golden Miner James. Thank you for being here. Therefore, what happens is you don't get the results that you want, and then you call your dog, you call your dog names, like you say, it's stubborn, right? When your dog is not stubborn, your dog is really is hard, trying hard to understand what you're trying to say. It's trying hard to figure out what you're trying to express. It's trying to bond with you. It's trying to communicate with you. It's trying to attach itself to you to deeper level. But because you don't have patience, because you're stressed, because you are not clearly communicating, you're not using positive reinforcement, you're not consistent, therefore your dog says, you know what, I can't communicate to this human. I'm going to detach myself from this human. So they detach themselves from you because they get stressed that you're not being able to communicate to them. So therefore, you're asking them to do something and they ignore you because, what's the point of a dog who can't communicate to a human, both ways, to listen? So they don't listen, they ignore you, and you call that dog stubborn. Now you know why your dog is stubborn. It's not their fault, right? It's just because you're confusing your dog, right? Because you don't have a clear communication with your dog. And when you don't have clear communication, you're going to you're going to cause confusion in your dog. Now, if you have clear communication, you're going to have effective training. Dogs learn better when they can easily understand the commands that you're trying to teach. Using clear and consistent language and method and ideas, it helps the dog to understand better. Now, one of the ways that I have found that is ideal for dogs to learn and understand is using play and praise. And play and praise is a method that not many dog owners use this method um, to teach their dogs because they feel that the dog needs to have treats or food or something else instead of using uh, play and praise. Play and praise is very effective when you use it properly and when you use it in a way that it teaches the dog that, first of all, we're having fun, we're having good time, right? So remember, if your dog is in positive state of mind and you're using positive reinforcement, which in my book, Play and Praise Reward System, is a positive reinforcement. I mean, you look at the name of the dog training method, play and praise. There's nothing wrong and negative about that. It causes positive reinforcement. It screams positive reinforcement, right? Um, so with the effective training of, let's say, positive reinforcement of play and praise reward system, you're creating that positive environment where the dog is capable of learning, is having a good time, is having fun, is playing, is being praised, and therefore you're going to get the results that you want. It's an effective form of training. And if you rely on treats, let's say, or food, or uh, punishment, or things like that, what you're doing is you're detaching yourself from positive reinforcement um, mentality. Now you're going to say, well, why do you say treat training is not positive reinforcement? Here's the thing: positive reinforcement means your dog has to be in a positive state of mind, right? So when you're training your dog and you're stressed, let's say you have an appointment in half an hour, and you have to get to that appointment, and you're rushing, and meanwhile you have to train your dog. You're stressed. You have to get to that appointment. All these things are happening, and you own somebody certain amount of money, and your work is it's a lot. It's causing a lot of headache and stress in you. You're in a stressful mode, and you're not yourself, and you're trying to teach your dog something because your dog is peeing in the carpet, or is digging a hole in the yard, or is chewing the furniture, or is barking or reacting, and your dog is in a negative state of mind as well, and you're trying to train your dog at the same this energy that you have, and you're bringing treats and food, and you're saying, sit, sit, come on, Rover, sit, sit, no, sit. Do you see where I'm going? That can be negative reinforcement. That's why I don't suggest you to use treats, even though you're not expressing yourself that you're stressed. In your body, in your soul, you're carrying stress. And when you carry stress and you share treats with the dog, you're transferring that stress to your dog. And your dog is going to say, you know what? Feed me that energy, feed me that negative energy. I need it because I'm stressed too, right? So what happens is you're feeding your dog negative energy, negative reinforcement, and therefore you're not going to get the results that you want. But let's say if you choose to be in a play and praise mode, state of mind. What if you are in a play and praise state of mind? What happens? What happens is you are having fun, you're having a good time, you're in positive state of mind, and you're trying to um, have a good time with your dog. And you're playing with your dog, you're praising your dog. When you're playing with your dog, hopefully you're in a good mood. Hopefully you're in a fun state of mind. And when you're in play mode, how do you feel? How do you feel when you're in play mode? When it's game night, aren't you happy? Aren't you excited to play a game? You play Monopoly, or whatever game you have, or let's say you're playing video game. Aren't you in happy-go-lucky mode? Aren't you in good mood? You must be in a good mood, right? So when you're in a good mood, right, you're having a good time, you're playing, you're in a positive state of mind, you're in good state of mind, and therefore you're projecting that positive energy to your dog, right? And when your dog is in that positive energy state of mind, also has fun because you're having fun, Therefore, you're going to get the results that you want. And what happens is you're going to have an effective training method rather than relying on treats or food or punishment. And that strengthens the bond that you have between you and your dog. Clear communication enhances the bond between you and your dog, because your dog is saying that human is a guy or a woman and a man who's having a good time, who's always in a positive state of mind, who's always happy, who's always enjoying to invest time in me and have a good time with me. Therefore, I have fun and I like that. And I love that my human comes and plays with me and has a good time with me. And, it's causing me to be happier, right? So I'm always playing with my dog, and therefore it strengthens the bond between me and my dog. And when my me and my dog we have a good healthy bond and relationship, I get 100% results. So be consistent, so therefore you can help your dog to predict what is going to happen. Therefore, you can reinforce your dog to get faster results. Provide positive reinforcement instead of being punishment, using punishment or negative reinforcement, especially when it comes to training your dog. That builds again trust. It motivates your dog to be uh, to be a good dog. And you can shape the behavior that you want. Be patient. Have patience. It reduces stress in you and your dog, encourages learning to your dog, and builds confidence in your dog, as we explained. And fourth thing that you need to do is clear communication. It reduces the confusion. It provides effective form of training in your dog and your system that you have developed, and strengthens the bond that you're going to have with your dog. So if you just rely on those four pillars, I would say you would have a great successful uh, result, right? And let me go to chat area. Cynthia, one of our channel members has a question. My dog knows the sit command. Sometimes when I ask him to sit before feeding or going outside, he sits, but he does it slowly. Is that being stubborn, or he just going to sit but when he feels like it? That's a good question, Cynthia. Uh, I've seen that dogs doing that. They don't sit right away. There are a few things that you have to consider when it comes to a behavior like that. One of them is that in your dog's mind, your dog is thinking, saying, I don't want to sit. This is not time to sit. I want to eat, for example, right? Or I want to go out. Not time to sit, you know? So that's the mind, that's what is going on in their mind. They don't see the sitting being a point. What's the point of me sitting, Now, the other part is that most dog owners, they make this mistake, is that whether the dog sits or not, they get fed anyways. For example, whether the dog sits or not, they get to go out anyways, right? So they get rewarded whether they do it or not. So what happens is the dog loses the value of that command or that activity that you're doing with your dog. This is why it's very important to be, as I explained in today's lesson, to be consistent. Always make sure that your dog sits, for example, and then feed the dog or let it go out. Never let the dog to not to do what you're asking it to do, and then, for instance, you give up. It's not sitting, forget it, I'll just feed it. Or it's not sitting, forget it, we'll just go out. If you're in that state of mind, and again, if you don't have patience, and if you're stressed and you're rushing, you're teaching bad habits to your dog, and that becomes the behavior that the dog learns. So the when you're asking it to sit, it doesn't see the value in the sitting. What's the point of me sitting? You're going to feed me anyways. Or what's the point of me sitting? You're going to let me out anyways. Why you are asking me to sit? What is the value of you asking me to sit? So it doesn't have value. And I've seen dogs doing that. I used to, for example, I used to have a doggy daycare, and we used to take dogs out all day long for them to do their business. And most of the dogs, I would ask them to sit before going out, and some of them, they would sit right away. They would say, you know what, I'll do anything you say, Saro. Thank you. You're taking me out. I'll sit. And some of them, they were saying, why do I sit? Why do I listen to humans? My humans, my owners, they don't value this. I don't have to sit whenever I go out. I don't need to sit. You're going to open the door anyways. We're going to go out. So they didn't value those things. So you have to bring value to your uh, activities that you're doing, Cynthia. So what I want you to do instead is practice sit separately when there's no food around or no doors around that they need to go out. Practice sit on its own. Bring value to that activity that you're doing. Not only sit, stay, calm, heal, all these commands, right? Practice those separately, um, in a more dedicated time, energy and effort, and bring that energy to other activities that you're doing with your dog. So, for example, I would say, you know what, I'm going to do a 15-minute training with my dog uh, between 11 and 12, 11:15 today, right? I'm investing that time and energy to train my dog. So I'll go and set up and play with my dog, have a good time, train my dog at the same time. That's what I do. I play and pray. I use play and praise to train my dog. During the play, I mix training to it. So we practice that for 15 minutes, and then let's say it's dinner time. I ask my dog to sit. My dog sits, then I feed dinner, for example. Now I get great results there because I've invested time and energy in improving the behavior that I want, and I've shaped the behavior that I want, and then I bring that energy and that mindset to other activities that we do during the day. And you're saying consistency is not my strong point. Wow. Uh, well, again, Cynthia, we have to understand that there's a purpose why we have a dog. Always have to remind dog owners, what do you think the main purpose of your dog in your life is? You may have many. Please, any of you who's watching this video, please feel free to share. What do you think the purpose of your dog in your life is? Why do you have a dog? What's the purpose of your dog in your life? Everybody has a different purpose. Everybody has different reasons. One of the reasons that I think we have the privilege of having a dog is to teach us a lot of other things that we don't get to learn in our everyday lives. We are so busy with everything that going on around the world in our lives, in our everyday activities that we do, that we forget to do the things that are more important and more effective and healthier for our own sake. And dogs are there to remind us that we need to pay a little bit more attention to what we're doing, and be more um, connected to the reality of life. What is reality of life? Everybody has a different point of view, different opinion. I think one of the things that for me stands out, reality of life, is connection to nature. And dogs are a great, valuable connectors between us and nature, and they help us to connect to nature uh, in more deeper way if we take the time to learn from them, if we take the time to be a good student. And one of the things that we learn when it comes to living with dogs is being consistent. Consistency is routine. When you have a routine, you have a better life. That's what I think it is. If you know what your day is going to be, what your plan for tomorrow is, what your plan for the next week is, what your plan for the next month is, if you plan it ahead and be consistent, you will live a less stressful life, I believe, and you can bring that consistency to your everyday life by approaching your um, everything that you do with your life with your dog, and everything else that brings happiness and joy to your life. And happiness and joy, it's not only coming from what and how much you spend, is to what your dog brings to you. And if you want to have the dog that you always wanted, and you want to transform your dog's behavior in just 12 weeks with my proven online coaching and training program, I invite you to book a free video call to see if you qualify to work with me on one-on-one basis using my online coaching and training program. We are focusing on play, train, and building a bond and having and enjoying our lives with our dogs. So if that interests you and if you want to work with me, I have a link in the description of this video. You can book a video call with me. We can chat. It's free call, and we can figure out if you are a qualified member of this program to work with me. And if you want to enjoy your life and you want to have the dog that you have always wanted to have. Thank you very much. Thank you, Cynthia. Good stuff and thoughts provoking for me. Thank you. I'm glad I have an impact on you and you alike. Thank you, Cynthia, for being a member of the channel. If you want to become a member of the channel, also there is a link in the description as well. I hope you enjoyed today's session. I had fun. I always have fun talking about dogs and talking to dog owners and helping dog owners to become an educated dog owners and educated dog lovers. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here today. I will see you next time. And until next time, have fun with your dog. Enjoy the day and have fun with your dog.